Newsload London presents.
Everything went out. So you had no TV, you had no phones, you had no internet, you had landlines, and that was about it. And we would, we were on the air the night of, because it started happening about 4 in the afternoon Eastern time. And then we were on the air the next day for a large block before power started being restored. And we basically turned our phone lines into whatever people needed.
Hello, I'm Carrie and Stephenson, and I'm here with Mike Stubbs. Hello.
How are things?
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, hey, thanks for being here.
A behind the curtain view of one of the best play-by-play announcers in the OHL. You can see the passion Mike has for the game. Do you love what you do?
Oh yeah. That's, my wife and I set that out as, if we can make this happen, find something you love to do, find the way to get paid enough that you're going to be able to afford whatever it is you feel you need to afford in life, and you've got it made. She does what she loves to do, I do what I love to do. So yeah, I would do anything to also be able to do play-by-play.
Your voice is so silky and so fabulous, and it's really exciting to be able to see you in action responding to the goal, like the goal. My voice isn't as beautiful.
You could do this.
Do you practice voice training, like diaphragm work and with a voice coach?
You'll catch it if you're driving around London. I'll sing in the car, and there will be times when I'm singing at a stoplight and you look over and someone's caught you. But yeah, that's it. Try and get your voice, because during the season, no problem. But after a while, in the off season, if you're not, yelling for 3 hours, you lose some of that strength. It's just a muscle.
Yeah, it is. It's like a muscle.
Yeah. And so you want to make sure that strength is up, and belting out a few hair ballads. Those are useful. Got to be careful on grunge, because there's a lot of in there, and you don't want that. So yeah, power ballads from the 80s.
So more I'm Going Hungry and less Smells Like Teen Spirit.
That's very good. Yes. So this is affectionately known as the car wash. I don't know where that name comes from, other than we've got all 4 of our stations. So you've got FM 96, and then you've got Fresh Radio, and you've got Country 104 right here, and then these are our studios. So this is 980 CFPL, and you just sit down, and if you want to have guests in, they sit down too, and we've got a nice view of what's going on in Wellington. So if anything ever happens on Wellington Street, we tend to know right away. We had a woman call up, and she said, I have an aunt, and she lives in the high-rises at Oxford and Wonderland. And she told the building that her aunt lived in. She says, I haven't been able to get in touch with her. I'm really worried about her. And so I said, well, I'm not sure what we can do, but if anybody happens to live in those buildings or in that building, could you give us a call? And then somebody called up and they said, I live in the buildings at Oxford and Wonderland. And in fact, I live on the floor that woman was talking about. So we had the woman who had the phone go and knock on the door of the aunt. You could hear this happening, and we just sat back and listened. And then the door opens, and the aunt is there, and the phone was handed over, and the two of them, by way of the radio, had a conversation. And it wasn't, I guess it was like reality radio, much like reality TV, but it was, hey, have you been in touch with this family member? Yeah, I heard from them, they're doing okay, and how about this family member? And went on for about a minute, and then they said goodbye, and we said goodbye, and you thought, that right there, that's the power of radio.
Well, you've absolutely made my afternoon. I can't thank you enough for your time, and Mike Stubbs, thank you.
Carrie, it's been fun, thank you. Here is Oscar Levant, or Levant, from 1940, from A Smattering of Ignorance. Mine was the kind of piece in which nobody knew what was going on, including the composer, the conductor, and the critics. Consequently, I get pretty good notices. Nelson Boswell. If you can keep your head while those about you are losing theirs, perhaps you do not understand the situation.
This is the Newsload.